24 years in prison. 24 years in prison, and I only had one friend. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. For 24 years in prison, I had one person, one friend that I could count on, that I could depend on. For a long time, this person was not good to me, was not good for me. But he was always there. The one friend I had was me. That was it. Anybody who hears these stories about prison, these stories about camaraderie, at the end of the day, the only person you can count on in there is yourself. If you think you can rely on other men behind those walls, other people are watching. If you get into some kind of fender bender, some kind of trouble, whatever, the people that you embrace the most are the ones that'll be asked to do the worst to you. I had good buddies of mine in prison. I saw some of them get whacked. I saw a lot of them whack other dudes. A lot of us that have done time, we have an ability to disassociate with people like that. And it's because when you're in there, you meet thousands of dudes. They come and go. But this guy, he was pretty funny while he was around. Well, that dude, fuck that guy. But you don't get attached for various reasons. One is, again, you may have to punch some holes in them. And so you engage in conversations with them, which is part of survival in prison. Getting to know how people think. Getting to know how they react to certain situations, and it's all knowledge that can be applied later. Those of you that have been watching my channel for years, you guys know I've always said there's no such thing as a frivolous conversation in prison. Even if there's no ill intent during the time of the conversation, you could say something that can be used against you later by this individual. I had dudes who they hated me. And we had never had a bad exchange of words. But it was because I may have been in a situation or a position that they wanted to be in. And instead of doing more, they just hated more. I've said before, in prison, it's 90, I don't know, it's high 90s, high 90% range, that if something ever happens to you, it'll be your own that'll get you, that'll do you in. It's not going to be from a rival faction. It's not going to be from another ethnicity. Those issues with other cars, other ethnicities, they will occur over some type of disrespect. Your own, they deal with you on a daily basis. And like I said, there are people who, they're so miserable, right? They decide you're a target. You haven't done anything wrong. You're actually doing all the right things according to that world. And the fact that you're doing all the right things has made you an enemy to someone else. And so they plot. They try to convince others to do their dirty work. They go crying to the big guys. But the bottom line is, you made an enemy without trying. That's why I say the only friend you'll ever have in prison is you. And a lot of times behind the walls, we're not good to ourselves. We put ourselves in positions to where whether we physically harm someone else, we always harm ourselves whenever we make a decision to use violence. I've spoken a couple times on the PTSD that long-term offenders have. People that have never been locked up, they like to mock that. But like I said, I know a guy, he was special forces. He got busted, got a life sentence, and got out. And he told me that in comparing the two, he had PTSD. He said compared to his military stuff, he said when you go out and do something and you're part of the military, you're there for a certain amount of time. You get to come home, decompress. He said when you get arrested, you go into combat mode. And you're in combat mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He said, and it doesn't stop until you're lucky enough to get out. He goes, and even then, we come out of our houses, we know who's on the block. We notice everything going on around us because we're programmed to do that in prison. It ain't no joke. But I just wanted to do this video because I see sometimes these dudes that are ex-convicts and they're out here in the streets and they're acting like prison was a good thing for them. And I only see the guys that didn't have a life sentence do that. Guys that did 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. They come out and they glorify it. For them, it's a badge of honor. They don't see it as the failure that it was. For however long you were incarcerated, you weren't around your family. You weren't representing your last name in a proper way, in a good way. You were hurting your own kind regularly. So I just wanted to put out the video to remind people, no matter where you are, man, you got to treat yourself right. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.